Yeah, she's adorable. Yeah, such a good kitty. Get comfortable, Teddy. Get comfy. I gotta get up in a couple minutes, though. Sure is hard to get up. They're always laying on top of the one that's underneath. Right there. Sedona. Sedona, Teddy, and Callie. We still have a Foxy around here somewhere. And a Tigger. Tigger's a cat, Foxy's a dog. Long story to these pets. Someday I'll tell it. How cute is that? But Mama's got to get up. Hello and welcome to my cozy retirement. I'm Tanya and I'm thankful that you're back. I hope your week has went really well. Mine has been very busy but had lots of good things in it. So I'm happy about that. Today, outside our window, which I will show you in a bit, we're having a bit of a blizzard. We have some snow, some blowing, and there's been some rain mixed in. It's certainly an indoor day. I won't be going anywhere. I won't be driving because I don't like to in this kind of weather. And I have some really fun things that I want to do inside. Sometimes snow days are fun, as long as I keep the hydro on. In my last video, I had said that my next video, I would talk about activities that are low cost or no cost. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. But before we start, there is this low spend time that I was committed to. This week was not as good as last. Goodwill, you know I love to thrift, had Senior's Day. And I did buy some items on that day. I'm happy with what I got, but it does mean that more money was spent. I'll put some pictures on so you can see what I got. So one thing was a vest. It was $10.79. They were charging a little more for it, probably because it was reversible. It's a winter outdoor vest, as you can see. And it's reversible, so there's one side that has a smooth material and the other side that has a fuzzy, furry material. Both sides have pockets, and I really do enjoy it. It's so nice. I even wear it sometimes in my house because we keep the heat turned down. So sometimes I even wear it inside if I'm cool. The other that I bought was a Columbia pullover for my grandson. I couldn't turn it down. It was only $4.29 and perfect condition and a really nice Columbia pullover. So, and a cat scratcher, which I will put a picture here. And it was only $2.49. I have very spoiled kitties. But it's fun. And when you can get them for that price, I mean, why not? I also bought a plant basket. So it's a basket, and I'll put a picture with a lining, plastic lining inside. I'm really actually glad that I bought this because I have a plant, and I'll show you a picture, that it's in a plastic planter, but the planter has a hole on the side. So I forget about this hole. So every time I water it, the water seeps out the side and down on my floor. So now the water will seep out the side, but it'll go into the plastic lining. So I'm quite happy that I did buy the planter, and it was $4.79. And then I bought a container, which I also put a picture up here. It's I have these containers in my craft room. This one is a different color, but that doesn't bother me. And it has a lot of ephemera in the container to use as well. So I thought it was a good buy. Just the container alone costs quite a bit when you buy them. And it was $3.99. But I did get all of this for 25% off. So the other thing I'd like to talk about before we talk about the activities is the book Things That Matter. Because again, I just started it, and so I've read chapter 1. I really enjoy this book, and I really did get some really good information out of the book. So I'm just going to cover it quickly, and as we go, if people think that I should talk about it more, you can put it in the comments. Or if you're reading the book, Please put in the comments what spoke to you as you read chapter 1. Life with No Regrets is the title for chapter 1. And some of the main points that I took out of the book was how to make life long enough. Because quite often people will say that life is too short. And Joshua Becker's perspective in the book is that life is not too short, but because we waste a lot of time, it feels short. That if we actually live intentionally, then life can be long enough to do what matters most. So that really spoke to me, because that can be true. If we're wasting time, too much time in front of the TV, too much time in front of YouTube, there's so many things that we could spend too much time on. But each day, if we get up and think about intentional living and think about what we really want to accomplish that day, then by the end of that day, we can probably accomplish some of those things. And at the end of our life, we can look back and think, yes, because I lived intentionally, because I did what I thought mattered, I've accomplished a lot during my time. I'm not sure that I'm going to think life is not that short when that time comes, but it does make some sense that life will feel longer and more fulfilled if we live intentionally. One of the lines I highlighted amongst many is, life is long if you know how to use it. And then as he gets over to page 11, he talks about minimalism. I know that Joshua Becker appears to be very much a minimalist. I'm not, but maybe I'm minimalish. So page 11, it says, it wasn't until after I became a minimalist in my early 30s that my mental space was freed up and even forced to really face questions of priority. So he talks about being intentional and removing things that distract, so you can spend more time on meaningful activities that you value. So a line in here is, it isn't primarily about decluttering or organizing, it's about creating freedom. Then he moves on in the book to talk about how minimalism and intentionality allows you space and time to do the things that matter, but that it should not all be self-focused. So it says, but our self-focused pursuits don't need to and shouldn't exclude others' focused pursuits. In the end, pursuits that help other people are the most influential, the most enduring, and even, I would say, the most rewarding for us. So we can clear our schedules as much as possible to do our own activities that we really want to do, but we also should ensure that we include others to help others, because that's very rewarding. And of course, that's true. So I found inspiring on page 16, you were designed to achieve great things. You are unique in your being, your personality, your abilities, and your relationships. And there is no one else on the face of the earth who can live your life and accomplish your good. Please do not forget that. Sometimes I feel like, well, what am I going to do? What am I going to accomplish? What's going to matter? And there's so much we can do, right? There's volunteering at different nonprofit organizations or nursing homes or humane society. There's so many things that we can do as individuals that does make a difference. It says there are people in your life whom you can serve and love better than anyone else. And then the final part of the chapter talks about the enemy, and it talks about the enemy being distraction. So anything that distracts you from accomplishing a fulfilled, intentional life, you need to get rid of. And it talks about some of those things that can be distractions. And then it says, the enemy of intentionality and a life well lived is distraction. Know your enemy. So I felt that first chapter had a lot to think about and work towards. And I'm looking forward to chapter 2. So if you've been reading the book, let me know what your thoughts were and if anything spoke to you. So now we'll move on to low spend or no spend activities. And if you have more to add to this list, please enter it in the comments below, because it certainly will help me and others get through this low spend, no spend time. For me, low spend. Some people are doing no spend. I don't know how they're doing that. So my list is not in any particular order of importance to least importance. I just made a list. Number 1, I have hike, walk with my dogs, or with friends. So it is nice to take a walk, talk, and enjoy the fresh air. And I can do that with my dogs. In fact, my cats, I have 2 cats that follow me as well around the property when I go for a walk with my dogs. To save money with reading and some activities, our local libraries are wonderful. It's a wonderful place to visit, to enjoy sitting at if you feel like having a different environment, and to enjoy a good book free of charge. So our local libraries have activities for both kids and adults that are free, and quite often there's at least a couple per week. So that's a nice way to not only get together with other people, but to enjoy an activity and get out of the house. Free little libraries are a great way to get a new to you book to read, and to also offer one to someone else, because you take one, you leave one. Another one that I know my kids do quite a bit is have pizza movie night on Friday nights. That's a great way to have some fun and something to look forward to during the week. And it doesn't cost any money because you're going to have to eat anyway, and you're not ordering in, you're making the pizza. Quite often they'll make the pizza together and then they watch the movie. So pizza movie night. So for me, I have my craft room. Everybody can have something different in this area, obviously. If you don't have a whole room, that's fine. I didn't for many years. But you can make an area of a certain space in your home for crafts, or you could keep it small and just have maybe one bin full of crafts that you do, whatever that is. For me, it's my craft room, and I can go in there and I could spend a day in there doing my crafts. Because I junk journal, it's very inexpensive. So that's nice. And sometimes if I crochet, of course, I need to get wool, but I can even sometimes get wool that is quite nice at a thrift store. So that's okay. Right now I have so much, I don't need to buy any for a very long period of time. But that is one way to spend some time at home, to enjoy that time, and to not spend a lot of money. Another great activity is to have people over to play games, whether it's friends or family. You can have a whole games night with just some snacks included, and just enjoy your time together chatting and playing games. For me, another activity is decluttering and reorganizing. It is free because when I declutter, I just get rid of things, and sometimes I can even put it on Facebook Marketplace and make some money. But getting rid of things that I realize I don't need feels so good. And reorganizing, I do that a lot. I shop my home and I reorganize areas, and in fact I've done it again recently, so I might have to show you an update of that at some point. But I like to shop my home and just reorganize things so that it feels new, feels different, and maybe works better in my space. Another option that I really like that we wouldn't have had back in the years, but we do now, is Zoom calls. I have 3 really close friends that live further away. They're at least an hour away. I'm able to Zoom call them so we can actually see each other, we can chat, we can visit, and in fact, one of the friends, we sometimes just do our crafts while we're each on Zoom, and we do a craft and we chat and we just have some fun that way. It is such a great way to visit. One, if it's bad weather out, you don't want to drive, like today, but also if you don't want to spend money on the gas, or you don't want to spend the time. For me to visit the friends, it takes about 2.5 hours of my day to get there and come back, which I don't mind on a nice day in the summer and it's a nice drive. But there are times where you think, you know what, I just like to visit and not have to do the travel and not have to spend the gas. So we do that. And in fact, one of those friends right now is in Arizona, and we're setting up a Zoom time so with the 3 of us, one in Forest, one in Arizona, and then myself here. Just a really nice way to check in because I'm not just driving to Arizona. So that's a good one. And right now what I've done is I've joined a couple of Zooms. One is a book club Zoom, and the other one is a healthy eating Zoom. And I both of those. Another activity, it's not totally free, but it can be very inexpensive, is to journal. So it depends how you want to journal. That I haven't spent much time doing because I've been too busy decluttering and cleaning and all the other things. So I plan on getting to that. In fact, since today is a snow day, maybe I'll do some puzzle as well as some journaling in my junk journal. That might be an idea. Puzzles. Puzzles are great. And again, you can buy them at thrift stores. Sometimes there's even lending libraries that have puzzles that you can borrow and then take back. Along with journaling, if you don't want to journal at home and you don't want to spend a lot of money, but you might have to spend a little, is to go to a cafe and have a coffee and journal or read. And then you feel like you're out of the house, you're not spending a lot of money, you're just spending enough for coffee, and you're able to have a fun activity out and about. So that's kind of an addition to the journaling. I actually have a gift card right now that was given to me for Christmas. A really nice cafe. Another option that I enjoy is to create a cozy day. So think about the things that you really want to do and you haven't really put aside time for, like my puzzle, and just create that day. Decide in your planner that this is the day I'm going to have a cozy day and nothing else is going to get in the way. So it's a very intentional, cozy day. And I have had these in the past and they are wonderful. Just one to be able to kind of re-energize and enjoy your day doing some of the things that you really enjoy doing. And for me, to have cozy clothing on, to spend some time with my dogs, going for a walk, to do some puzzle, to do some journaling, to do some reading. There's so many options. I might need more than one day. So that is a really fun option as well, to just create one cozy day. And if you can't have a whole day, maybe create a cozy 4 or 5 hours in your day, whatever works for you. I enjoy watching YouTube, and sometimes I'll put on podcasts while I'm doing other chores that I don't really enjoy doing. YouTube is also a great place to learn new activities. So I crocheted in the past, but I didn't crochet very often. And so because of that, I needed to have some education about how to crochet once again. Came back fairly quickly once I got going. Going on YouTube to help teach me to crochet again. It's wonderful. And YouTube is great for inspiration for my junk journaling. It's great for finding books to read because there's lots of book people that talk about different books. There's so many things you can learn on YouTube, but also just be entertained by YouTube. So I do enjoy that. You just need to make sure you're not spending too much time just in front. But I enjoy podcasts as well. And so I will put them on and do my chores that I don't enjoy doing just to make it feel better, but also podcasts while I'm doing some of my crafts. So podcast is another great tool to use that's free. Another one I'm adding in is if you like to work out, do some kind of exercise, you can also find a lot of free exercises right on YouTube. And last I have on here, and very important, is volunteering. So if you can find a place to volunteer that is meaningful to you, it can be very meaningful to who you're volunteering with. I'm thinking things like Humane Society, nursing homes, food banks. Some thrift stores like to have volunteers to help out. We have a hospice here. There are so many options of places to volunteer that helps those that you're going to volunteer for, but also helps you in your intentional life to make sure you're doing what matters. So those are the activities that I came up with that I enjoy doing. And I think there was 16. Looks like I have 16 here. So a quick review is, number 1 was hike or walk with dogs and or friends. Number 2, go to the library to utilize their free activities, their free books, to get out of the house, to have somewhere different to sit and read. Number 3 was to utilize little free libraries where you can take a book and give a book. Number 4 was to have a movie night at home. Number 5 was have some kind of craft that you enjoy doing. For me, I have a craft room. For others, that may be a craft box. But whatever it is, just enjoy a craft that you enjoy doing. And it does not have to be expensive to have a craft. Number 6, games night with family or friends. Again, games, snacks, enjoyable time. Number 7, for me, organizing and decluttering. So reorganizing my home, shopping from my home, and decluttering. That is something I enjoy. Zoom with friends rather than trying to travel to friends. If they're close, then sure, go and see them. But if they're not close, it's great to use Zoom. So number 9 is join a Zoom group or support group. And that way, again, you don't have to leave, you don't have to use gas, but it's a fun way to connect with others. Number 10 was journaling. Number 11, puzzles. 12, going to a cafe with a book or a journal or a friend. Not quite as free because you're going to buy some kind of drink, but enjoyable to get out of the house, less expensive, and still able to do an activity that you really enjoy. 13, create a cozy day for yourself, or at least a cozy few hours. 14, enjoy YouTube videos as well as podcasts. 15, online workouts. If you need to have a workout and you don't want to spend a lot of money at a gym, there's so many on YouTube that you can do free at home. And 15, volunteer. So I hope this is helpful in ways to just enjoy every day without spending a lot of money and to be intentional with the activities that you do. Find those that are most meaningful and enjoyable and create time for what matters. So thank you for joining me. I have so many ideas for more videos. I'm not sure which one's going to be next. I do have an updated craft room tour, and oh, that took days just because it was such a mess. But anyway, that is coming up soon. And I also want to do some journaling with you. I also want to create a junk journal and talk about aspects of junk journaling. Oh, I have so many ideas. So I hope you'll continue to join me and we can go through this journey of intentional living together. Thank you again. Bye-bye.